Ah, Master Rank, when the game decides you've had enough training and it's time to stop holding back, where the game itself turns into a fully trained SEAL Team 6 member and you're paralysed from the neck down and also blind. So, let's begin this journey where I'm sure it won't lead me to insanity. Well, first up we have to talk to this guy over by the gates of Astera, where it tells us a Legiana has been spotted in the ancient forest. I'm not sure what that cold freezing bird is doing in the ancient forest, but let's go find out, shall we? Slowly making our way through the ancient forest because the handler can't walk any faster than 3 miles an hour, we eventually find some Legiana tracks, and then some more, and then eventually we find the fucker who's deciding he wanted to wait to jump scare us. Yes, the Legiana then decides to spawn in a million other Legiana to fly alongside, and the handler, using her infinite range spyglass, spots another curious monster that we've not seen before, flying amongst and possibly trying to hunt the Legiana.
What is that?
And with that title card of the DLC out of the way, it is time we venture forward and find out where those Legiana are going. Choosing to travel by style, we board the airship instead of a boat and travel in the direction of the flying Legiana. Towards the end of the journey, we discover a giant landmass as well as hit some unruly turbulence, in which the commander decides, nah, we need to go back in and retreat, but nah, I've fought giant monsters, some turbulence isn't going to be affecting me. So, against our better judgment, we say, fuck that, and jump away. We decide to be somewhat useful when leaving them all behind to find a location for the ship to land, so at least we're, doing something instead of just leaving them alone in the turbulence. Landing in what seems to be frozen hellscape, we decide to set up camp to avoid freezing to death, because that would not be very good if the New World Hunter, us, died due to frostbite. Upon leaving our new campsite in some proper layered armour to keep us nice, warm and toasty, we decide to venture forward to find a landing location, and I'm sure we will run into no trouble at all. As we adventure on trying to find a landing space, we find some mysterious tracks of a monster we haven't seen before, this being our first Master Rank monster. Upon examining a dead Popo, we come face to face with this mysterious monster, another type of fish monster, but this one is actually the only good one, because it's not a massive pain in the fucking arse. And with this, our first Master Rank monster fight is a go, and I was really terrified at how this would go, because obviously using high rank weapons on Master Rank monster to begin with isn't fantastic, and I was also terrified at what bullshit this mod would have given him, but it was nothing horrific, thankfully. I will say, the addition of doing bleed damage does put a kink in things. Very fucking annoying. Especially when you don't prepare for it, because I didn't know he'd do bleed. So having to slowly crouch about the map trying to get rid of your bleed is quite annoying. Also, at one point, Rudolph the Angry Reindeer Bamborough decided to join us for the fight, which is okay because him and Beotodus have a fight together where they'll actually do damage to each other, which is very good for me, which means less work for me to do. Overall, the giant land snow shark isn't an awful fight. He is the best of all of the Piscine wyverns, but then again, that's not a very high bar. After roughly 30 minutes-ish of non-stop fighting, I was able to get down a trap and get him caught. Because this is an expedition where you don't get quest rewards at the end, it's all everything you get in at that time, so trapping is the best to get the most rewards out of them, and also I usually like to trap because you get more rewards anyway. After doing that and finding a landing location, we set up preparations for a new HQ in this frozen wasteland. However, things aren't 100% complete yet, as we need to set up a proper trade route between Astera and this new location. So for that we have to go back out into the frozen world and fight another monster. Upon venturing back out and finding a collection of thrown down logs and trees, we encounter our next monster, in the case of the already seen Angry Rudolph, the Bamborough.
It's completely blocked. What did this?
Bamborough is a monster that I wouldn't be unhappy with if it appeared in the Wild DLC. It's just there's a few monsters I'd rather see before it, but overall, he's really cool design, good moves, and it doesn't feel like an absolute dogshit fight with him. The only really annoying thing with this fight is that Bamborough now also does sleep. So he'll hit you and you'll fall asleep, but usually he's moving about so much that you'll get hit before you can fall asleep, but it's still a bit annoying. And the only other annoying thing is that I'll get stunned and then Jack Daniels, instead of fucking helping me, will just stand there like an absolute fucking gobshite. And the only other notable thing in that fight is that we caused an avalanche to occur, which was quite fun, so that I got some nice damage on Bamborough. I mean, yes, I may have also broken all of my bones, but I also got to damage him. But all in all, it wasn't a difficult fight, you know, nothing bullshit really happened, and after about half an hour again of fighting, I was able to capture him and return from the expedition back to HQ. Returning once again to HQ, everything is in full swing. We're getting all of the equipment from Astera and we're getting ready to fully ramp up this Legiana investigation and call this place second home. After doing some room decoration in our new house, we are once again tasked to go out into the newly named Hoarfrost Reach, which is the cold area we've just been in, because we need to track down more Legiana tracks and whatever. And upon delving deeper into the Hoarfrost Reach, we encounter a first Wyverian that has been living in this frozen, frigid wasteland, and tells us to search below inside the ice in some caves to try find what we're looking for. And fuck, we're getting jumped. This angry Tobikadachi subspecies is a Viper Tobikadachi and is, in my humble opinion, one of the absolute worst monsters and subspecies ever introduced. Not only because does he jump about a lot, but that's fine, I can fight normal Tobikadachi like that. His quills do poison damage, which do a lot of damage over time, and also he does paralysis. Now, you can be like, yo, can't you just equip 3 joules of paralysis resistance and be immune to it? No, because a side effect of this mod, whether it was intentional or not, is that if you have equipped 3 joules of anything, paralysis resistance, stun resistance, poison or whatnot, that it doesn't work. It just does not work. You can get the level 2 resistance, which still gives you it, but just for a reduced time, but it won't be the full-on you are immune, which makes this fight so much more awful. But thankfully, it's an expedition, so that means I can fail as many times as I want, and the quest won't end, which is great. The absolute one saving grace is that Jack Daniels can play the bongos, as you can see him doing here, and there's a small chance that when he does that, I will get paralysis resistance that the game gives me that properly works. Now, is it guaranteed that I'll get that every time he plays his bongos? No, but I'm just lucky that for this time right now, that's what I've got. So I need to absolutely do as much damage as I can while I have this resistance. My main goal throughout this whole fight was to try and break his tail, because I was hoping if I'd done that it would reduce his ability to paralyse me, and that would just make the fight so much more enjoyable if I didn't have to worry about that happening. I was able to get a mount and then eventually a knockdown, which was great for doing more damage to his tail. Because he moves about so much, it's really hard to do good damage to his tail. Usually you're getting like his front or back legs, maybe his head, but rarely his tail. Well, that's also because that's where the main damage comes from, when he's whipping it about like a maniac. I did lock in quite a bit for this fight because I did not want to risk having him leave the area. In an expedition, as I've said before, you can faint many times and not have to worry about the penalties of fainting 3 times and the quest failing, but you can still have the monster leave the area after a certain amount of time, and that is pretty much also just failing because the monster will be gone and all of the work put in trying to kill him will have been for nothing. Thank you once again, Jack Daniels, for doing absolutely nothing over there and just letting me suffer. And eventually, after about 40 minutes of hunting and slowly chipping away at him, I was able to get him trapped and tranked, and with that, one of the worst quests is over. There's a few more to come that I'm absolutely dreading, but this was a big one, out the way, and it wasn't actually that bad. After that, we were able to locate the ship we were told to go find down below by the first Wyverian before we got jumped, and while all of that happens, we are recalled back to Astera because new subspecies have been found, while our handler stays behind, and for the time being we are given a new handler to have instead. And our next two quests are to fight two new subspecies of a Paolumu and a Puke Puke, and that will be saved for next time because the Paolumu fight does just sleep, and I'm dreading what else, so that's going to be a lot of mental preparation and I think suffering.